Hello everybody, Halfheim here, and today we're going to be doing a example solve on Melinda's 2T4 puzzle. This is a four-dimensional Rubik's Cube with 8 colors. It's held together by magnets, and it is one of my favorite puzzles that I've been doing lately. In speed solving, I'm right around 3 minutes on this puzzle, so that gives you some idea. And a lot of the techniques that I'm going to be using to solve this are specific to four-dimensional puzzles. This is the only mass-produced four-dimensional puzzle that there is. There are virtual four-dimensional puzzles as well, which obviously solve very differently. I've really been enjoying this one, and when we get it finished, if you're not familiar with this puzzle, then you will also see what the solved state looks like. I think it's pretty neat. So to get started, what I'm looking for in inspection is to find a set of colors that are opposites, where the sum of the colors in this section, this section, this section, and this section, kind of opposite sides, add up to exactly 8. And if I can't find something like that, I need to get something to that point in order to continue. So I see, like here, blue and green are opposites. So I see here that there's a total of 4 on this side. And as I look on the bottom, I see 2 more. That's 6, so that doesn't do it for me. And I can also look on the inside of the cube during inspection. That is perfectly allowed. And I'm still not seeing anything great. I have lots of whites that are visible, and there's lots of yellows, but nothing's really paired up over here. So I might just go with that and start trying to solve from there. So I see these whites and these whites I can pair up with an RKT move. So I might start with that. So to start the puzzle, I pair those up. That gives me 6 white yellows on this side and 1 white yellow here. So I'm real close. What I might do is put these together and do an R2 move, I guess, to put those 6 on the same cell so that I can look here for just 2 on this cell across from each other. Oh, that's 3. Let's do one more RKT move to set up 2. So now here I have 3 in this top side, and on the bottom side I have 5. And it doesn't matter what color they are as long as they're opposites. So in this case I'm using white and yellow, and I pretend like they're all the same color, and I just need 8 exactly. And then I perform my first gyro move. And what that gyro move will do, I call it, or think of it as, forcing the fourth. This is a 4-dimensional puzzle. Each cubie has 4 colors on it. But one of the unique things about the puzzle in the physical world, since we don't have 4 dimensions, these colors, these stickers, if you will, on the outside, they cannot mingle with the other pieces. So what we're doing is we're taking these 5 pieces and forcing them out into that other section there, which is the left-right section. I think of it as the 4th dimension because it's not really accessible without doing a specific set of moves. So by putting those 8 out there, they will not be able to mingle with the other colors so that we can then set them where we want them to be. So the gyro move looks like this. You take this side and bring it over. Then you split it in half and you put the back to the back. Then this side comes across and you do an R2, B2, D2, and an R2 again. And now we've taken those 8 pieces that we had here and here, and we've moved them into these outer positions. So here's the 5, and here are the 3. 1, 2, where'd the other one go? Oh, over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which leaves exactly 8 white yellow pieces available to move around and mix together. So what we're going to do now is set all of those white yellow pieces up so that they're on one cell, and all of the outer pieces on the other cell will happen automatically. So the first thing that we're going to do is look for pairs. I see a nice yellow pair here and a nice yellow pair here. So I'm going to split those up by setting it up like so, and then doing an R2. And now we have them on separate cells, which makes it really easy if I put one on the bottom here on the left side and this other one on the top on the right side. Then when I do an R2, that will pair this with that, and I will have kind of 4 of them together like so. Now in this case, they all happen to be yellow. That doesn't matter. If they were half yellow, half white, or 3 yellows and 1 white, that would be fine too. What I do next is I take this and I store this over onto the left side, which helps me remember not to break it up. And what I see here is I have 3 pieces with exterior white yellows, which means this piece has one somewhere on the inside, and it's right here, which I like. So one of my favorite things to do is to set up this next turn so that this piece will move up to the position right above this piece when I do an R2. And so by putting a piece that's yellow or white here, I can pair that with this by doing my next R2. And now they are paired there on the inside. That's just kind of a cool thing that I like to see. Next, I just have 2 more to pair up, and I need to make sure I'm preserving this pair. So by setting it up like this, I have this pair, and when I do an R2, that will be preserved. I have one white or yellow piece here on top, and then the other white yellow piece is right here. It's in these 4 pieces. So that when I do my R2, this piece will go to the bottom. I can put my yellow piece right here where this orange color is, and then when I do my R2 again, it will pair them together. Like that. Finally, I just need to get these 2 and these 2 onto the same side. So I'll do that similar with what I did with the other one. I will take these 2 pieces and R2 them down to the bottom. Then I'll set up the other white yellow here so that when I do another R2, they'll pair back up. And now I have those set up there. One more step before we get to our next gyro is to set this and this so that they're on the same cell, which I'll do by setting them up just like that and then doing an R2 again. And now what I have is 2 cells, one of which has yellow and white across from each other, and the other one has yellow and white only on the outside. So now we're going to do the gyro move again. And what we're going to do this time is instead of gyroing these to the outside by putting them in this top section, we're going to rotate it 90 degrees so that when we do the gyro move, it will move these pieces and these pieces out to those outer 4, which will bring all 16 of the white yellow pieces onto these inner sections where they can then mingle with other pieces. So again, gyro move, I'm going to take the left to the right, I'll split them and do back to back, right to the left, R2, B2, D2, R2. So now on the inside, I have all of the white and yellow pieces. And if you kind of look in these outside stickers here, these outside pieces, you'll notice that there's no white and yellow out there. They're all on the inside. So now I will do an R2, pair them up like that, and then spin that so that I have all white and yellow pieces are now in the same cells, in the same section. They're in this top bottom cell. And I will do the 3rd gyro move. This is going to be the last gyro move we need to do. And what it's going to do is force all of these white and yellows out into that 4th dimension section where they can't mingle with the other pieces. So again, left to right, split it, back to back, right to left, R2, B2, D2, R2. And now you'll notice we have whites and yellows on all of the outside pieces, which is fabulous. That's exactly what we're looking for. Now our next step is to, we're going to set up both of the cells into like an Ortega style where we have the top and the bottom all matching and the rows can be messed up and that's okay. So as I look at that, I see here I have a pair of white-green pieces. So if I can get the other 2 white-green pieces to here and here, then I'll be partway done with one of the cells. So as I look for other white-green pieces, I see one's here and the other is here. So let's set those up. If I do an R2 with these pieces like this, these two will pair up and this one will not be split. So that will work just great. And now I have the white greens ready to go. And so again, I'm going to put one on the bottom on the left and the other on the top on the right. Do another R2 move. And now I have this fourth of the puzzle that shows solved. I actually got it solved all the way around too, which is nice, but not necessary. All I'm really looking for is just the green and white solved together. Now the opposite of green is blue, so the next step is to solve the blue and white. And so again, I really like this inside flip. So I'll take this one here and this one here, pair them together with an R2. Now I actually got both of them set up, which is great. I'll start by putting one on top here so that when I set it up like this and do another R2, those will all pair up. Now we need to pair up the blue with the green. So again, we'll do so just like that. And I now have this cell ready to go. It has one color on one side, the other color on the other side, and all of the exterior pieces are white. So here, if we were to continue going, what I have here is an adjacent and a solved. So if I were to do essentially a T-perm on this from this direction, that would solve this cell. We're not going to quite do that yet. There's another piece we have to do, and that's get this cell ready. At this step in the solve, we're going to introduce what's called RKT, which is a bit of a misnomer. Previously in four-dimensional cubes, some of the cells were called kata, and there's another one too, I can't remember what it is, but the K comes from that. R and T are right and top. And the technique was used so that you can essentially use three-dimensional algorithms on a four-dimensional puzzle, which we're going to do. And the trick to this, to making it work, is when we're using this cell here, we have two sides that are solved, the blue and the green. And so we want to make sure that we're touching this cell on the face we're moving with either the blue or the green when we do it. So I'm looking at these two purples here, and I'm seeing purple here and purple here. So let's go with purples and solve just this one side to get started. So I'm going to do a U move to move this piece over here, and then I'm going to do an L2 to bring that piece down to the bottom. Now I cannot just do a U move on here. That's not a valid move on the puzzle. But what I can do is stick this to the top and then move this middle section in a U prime, like that. And what that did is it brought this piece over here, and because I did that with the green face, it did not mess up my already solved green and blue. And now I can do the same thing with an L2, but instead of having it here on the top when I do my L2, that wouldn't work. I'm going to put it on the L side and then do, again, that inner twist to do the L2. And again, that hasn't messed up my green or blue. And now I have three purples here on the bottom. The last purple is over here. So just like with a 2x2 cube, I would bring this over above where it needs to go. And then I would do up, over, down. And that solves this purple and yellow section. All that's left now to do is do pink and yellow on top. And I don't know my Ortega algorithms super well, so I'm going to guess on this one. I think this is it. I think it's an F, R, U, R prime, U prime. Aha, F prime. I did it. Excellent. So I now have two cells that have opposite sides that are solved. Here it's pink and purple, and here it is green and blue. It doesn't really matter which colors they are as long as they're opposite and they are solved. So now when I stack them together, I can look around the puzzle and I can see here I have an adjacent opposite, opposite, opposite. Here's an adjacent. Here's an adjacent. And this one is solved. Now there's algorithms to know that will solve the whole puzzle at once. Unfortunately, I don't know them all, but I do know that I can solve each of them individually, or I can mix them up to solve them, or I can use RKT using Ortega algorithms to solve them. So looking at this one here, this is just adjacent, adjacent, which I do know that algorithm in Ortega, so I'm going to use this cell here as an RKT to do this algorithm. I just have to remember it here. It is an R2 U prime B2 U2 R2 U prime R2. And now this cell is completely solved. And what we have over here is a cell with an adjacent solved, which is just a T-perm. So again, using this cell now, I'm going to solve this T-perm by doing the full algorithm using RKT. So that starts with an R. Over, down, back. Nice. And we've now solved both of them, and I'm just one turn away here. Oh, I was wrong. I have come up with RKT parity. Because this is a four-dimensional puzzle, sometimes you'll run into this, where you have one that is solved and the other one is off by a 180 rotation. Now, it is not a valid move to do a 180 rotation by itself like this. You can do a 180 rotation like this. The problem with that is now I have the parity on this other algorithm. It's not actually a parity, but that's what we call it. So there is a solution for this. It's an algorithm, and you just have to memorize this one. It's R2, B2, R2, U, R2, B2, R2, U prime. And now they're both solved. To put it into the final state, you find the same color and you put it in the middle. Then you rotate so that these match. And this is a solved state. What makes it solved is I have the same color on top, no matter which way I hold it. The color that's on the side is the same. The color on the inside matches. And when I split it apart, this has one color on one side and the other color on the other side. And that is our solved 2T4 puzzle. I love this puzzle. I think it's fabulous. I really enjoy my time with the puzzle. Again, I average right around 3 minutes and 15 seconds or so. The world record on this is under a minute. Of course, it's an unofficial world record. If you're interested in getting one of these puzzles for yourself, they are currently being mass-produced and sold by the creator. Her name is Melinda, and I'll leave a link in the description to her website where you can message her to purchase one of these puzzles if you're interested. I was thinking we might do a giveaway too for this puzzle. I have a couple of extra puzzles and I thought that might be fun. So if that's something you're interested in, let me know in the comments and I will consider doing that as well. Thanks.